On the previous episode, we've been talking about the NFL second half of Sunday's divisional round matchups, and then we talked about yesterday previewing the Rockets, Thunder, and the Knicks and the Warriors. I'll recap both of these games from last night's game today, and the biggest news of the day from Wednesday night that I recapped it yesterday is the hiring of the New York Giants, John Harbaugh. And we talk about the concerns about the Eagles and the Cowboys about the hiring of John Harbaugh of the New York Giants. And we previewed the college football playoff. So let's see what's in store in today's JDB's morning cap.
What if your dream was to build the fastest car ever?
Say happy Friday. Today is January 16th, 2026. You know how excited is divisional round week in the NFL? Both AFC and NFC divisional round. It starts tomorrow. First one, we got the Bills at the Broncos, followed by the 49ers and the Seahawks in Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. On Sunday, it will be the Houston Texans will travel to face the New England Patriots. And then the next one, it'll be the Los Angeles Rams will take on the Chicago Bears. And the winners will head to their respective conference championship game on January 25th, which is not too far away because Super Bowl is around nearly 3 weeks away from Super Bowl 60. So I don't know how excited I am about Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California. So who will go to the biggest stage of them all in the NFL? So it could happen in the next 3 weeks. We'll find out. There's 4 spots left. There's 8 spots left. There's 8. There's 8 spots left in the NFL. All right. Sorry, can you hear me? All right, so let's start with the NFL. Let's revisit from yesterday that John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, the Giants have hired. The Giants have. The Giants have hired John Harbaugh as head coach. The Giants have hired John Harbaugh as head coach. I got a question. What was my reaction of the hiring of John Harbaugh? So, if I'm going to revisit this from yesterday. my reaction was John Harbaugh should. You think Giants fans that John Harbaugh should be the right fit for this franchise? Cohesion is the most important thing for this team. And trusting on-field and off-field relationships is going to be critical as well. Let's just say this about Harbaugh's future relationship between John Harbaugh and Jackson Dart. Let's set the record straight. What do you think about the hiring of John Harbaugh? Do you think this is a great move or a bad move? To me, it is a great move. They need an experienced head coach like Tom Coughlin, the guy who won 2 Super Bowls in 2007 and 2011 season, and he coached with Eli Manning, the Giants quarterback, that he won 2 Super Bowls with him as well. Can Jackson Dart take him to the Super Bowl and win the title in future years? 5 years for Harbaugh is all he needs. So if he wins twice over his next 5 years, good for him. Super Bowl is not important Super Bowl is not important to him, and Super Bowl is important to the rest of its franchise. And you think about John Harbaugh's relationship with these quarterbacks when he coached for the Ravens, like Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson. Those are the players that you're going to ask for it. So let's just say this about the rest of the NFC East. So let's take a look at what's going to happen in the rest of the NFC East division. Let's start with the Washington Commanders. Is Jaden Daniels going to be healthy by the time the start of the 2026 season? I hope so. The Commanders, we talk about the Commanders team. I believe they won just 4 games. I think they won like 4 or 5 games this season, if I'm correct. Record Commanders in 2025. Five and 12. Commanders went 5-12 in 2025. It was a big drop off for the Commanders this season. A giant disappointment. A really giant disappointment for the Washington Commanders. The defense was bad. The offense seemed missing. Jaden Daniels wasn't healthy at all for much of the season. It is a mess in Washington. And to make matters worse, they don't have Cliff Kingsbury anymore. So, do you think Commanders will be even worse next year? Yeah, I think they could be even worse next year. The Commanders finished 3rd place in the NFC East with 5 wins. That's not who they are. I think the Commanders are going to be worse in 2026 if Jaden doesn't get healthy. So it's up to Dan Quinn as a Commanders head coach to see how this team could dig deep for this offseason. The next team I'm going to have in the NFCs is the Philadelphia Eagles. We've just been talking about the Eagles throughout this week. A firing of Kevin Patullo as the offensive coordinator. Do you think the Eagles have a better chance to miss the playoffs in 2026-27 season? If I would get the pick, yeah, I think there's a chance the Eagles could miss the playoffs because, yes, losing A.J. Brown is significant. Possibly losing an A.J. Brown would be significant. Saquon Barkley may decrease rushing numbers year after year after phenomenal first season as Eagles running back got to the Super Bowl and won it. Then the next season he struggled to get through this. And then this season, in 2026, it's going to be another challenging season. If the health, the timing of the run, Jalen Hurts' situation, the offense may not be good. In fact, this will be the 5th offensive coordinator over the last 5 years. Those play callers, Doug Peterson, Shane Steichen, Kellen Moore, Brian Johnson, Kevin Patullo. Those are the offensive coordinators over the last few years. I can't have this thing like that. The Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know where they're going to go from here next year. I think the Eagles made, what happened, so since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they made the playoffs again, and then the next year they missed the playoffs. History could repeat itself. Remember 2017-18 and 18-19 season, they made the playoffs, won the Super Bowl in 17-18 season to the Patriots, over the Patriots. And then 2018-19 season, they made the playoffs, beat the Bears in the walk-around, and then lost to the Saints in a divisional round. And then what happened next year? Well, the Eagles made the playoffs 3 straight years. In 1920 season, they made the playoffs, lost the NFC wild card game to the Seahawks. And then what happened next year in 2021 season, the 2020 and 21 season? The Eagles missed the playoffs. Let's say the Eagles make the playoffs next year, and in 27 season, they'll miss the postseason because of injuries. Let's just say that. Those contracts, a handful of Eagles players are under contracts in upcoming free agencies. For the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboys have a bunch of players are under contracts. Yes, you're going to pay a whole bunch of money, but you're still under contract. Because for the Cowboys, there is no permanent long-term solution. The long-term solution of the Cowboys player signees has been absolutely problematic. It's clearly problematic for the Dallas Cowboys as far as free agent signings. They just don't have a long-term solution who can take over or who can acquire from teams. The Dallas Cowboys, when they went 7-9-1, technically people don't like the Cowboys this much. To say trustworthy is going to be problematic. The trustworthy of the Dallas for Jerry Jones has been problematic for years. Ever since they suffered the 2023-24 first round exit. Since that time, this team just hasn't been the same because of it. The Dallas Cowboys may prove this football team inconsistent. It's sad because it's really hard that Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Washington Commanders, and Philadelphia Eagles will have to go through this. Everybody's playing the NFC West next year for the NFC East. So for Dallas and New York, they got to go to Seattle and Los Angeles Rams. They're going to be home for the 49ers and the Cardinals. If you're Philadelphia and Washington, you got to go to San Francisco and Arizona, and then you're going to host the Rams and the Seahawks. Those are the 2026-27 schedule will look like next season. Let's say who has a better advantage, Eagles or Cowboys? Probably the Eagles. The Eagles looking to win the third consecutive division. Like I said, the Cowboys have no long-term solution. Okay. So let's see how this offseason of the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Washington Commanders, and Philadelphia Eagles plays out. Let's see how this plays out here. This one here. Coming up on JDB's Morning Cap, we're going to talk NBA. We'll recap all the 3 games that I saw last night, including the Warriors and Knicks, Thunder, Rockets, and Hornets and Lakers. Speaking of the Lakers, what the hell is wrong with the Los Angeles Lakers? They seem to be disorganized. We'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back here. Let's recap between the Thunder and the Rockets last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander extends his 112th consecutive game when he scores at least 20 points. He was on the brink of snapping a 111th game 20-point streak. Would have been snapped if he did not score 20 points. But the Thunder defense dominates the Rockets offense, and they outscored them in the fourth quarter 34-16, and they end up winning by 20 points, 111-91 in favor of the Thunder. Thunder advances to 35-7 record. Rockets dip to 23-15. All right, so here's the question for either of these guys. Let's start with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder has got back on track after a pesky 2.5-week stretch? Yeah, I think the Thunder has gotten back on track. The defense has gone back on track. The offense is moving the ball better. I mean, they're starting to figure things out. After stretches, you're going to go through some slumps. But in the last few games, they've started to figure things out. So, SGA last night, he didn't have a terrific night shooting yesterday for SGA, but he actually focused on other things other than scoring. He did finish 4 assists. So, let's just say those games, he did have 2 blocks yesterday. SGA did have 2 blocks last night. I mean, we just been talking about the Thunder is still legit to come out of the West. Thunder is still favored to come out of the West because if they want to challenge the Spurs better than this, they got to beat the Spurs. Or the Nuggets. There's some. If Jokic does come back, then we can put Nuggets and the Thunder in the conference finals. If Jokic is not quite 100% by the playoffs, man, it could be Spurs. Then it could be Spurs and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. So as of now, my WCF matchup is Spurs and Thunder. These two have history in the Western Conference Finals over the years. Only a few times over the years. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, by the way, he had 10 assists and he shot poorly. He only had 6 points. Chet Hogan had 18 points, 9 rebounds. He blocked a couple. He had 2 steals and 4 blocks. He had another good performance. He's been the best player of the night last night. 18 points, 4 blocks, and 9 rebounds. A near double-double for Chet Holmgren. So, I think the Thunder is still legit to come out of the West. All right, so my next question. How the Rockets need to figure things out before the deadline. So I can ask 2 questions. I'm going to answer this right now. How the Rockets can figure things out ahead of the trade deadline. I think they need a point guard. Rockets need a guard play. Rockets last night, the ball movement was terrible. The Rockets finished 14 turnovers yesterday, and the ball movement has not been good. They averaged around 16 turnovers a game, which is 18th in the NBA. Turnovers have been an issue for the Houston Rockets. So, Amen Thompson is the point guard. Are you out of your damn mind? Amen Thompson is a point guard? You can't even run anything. Point guard's supposed to call out plays, like a quarterback. The number 1 position in sports, it's point guard. Amen Thompson is a point guard. He should not be a point guard. In fact, he could have been. So let's say this: they do need a point guard, and then you got to put Josh Okogie off the bench. I think he's better off the bench. Rockets are 27th in the league in bench production rate. The bench points production rate, which is 27th in the league in bench points production rate. They only average their scoring bench production rate is around 26%, which is the 4th lowest in the NBA, next to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers have the lowest bench production rate. So let's just say all this about the bench. Josh Okogie could come off the bench if there's a point guard acquisition. So I believe he could be comfortable coming off. I think Josh Okogie could be comfortable coming off the bench to impact this team for the rest of the year if they want to climb up this Western Conference standings. If they don't make a move by deadline, Rockets could be in the play-in picture by the end of the season. The other questions I'm going to ask: What happened to Kevin Durant? What happened to Kevin Durant? He only finished 19 points yesterday. He's just not quite aggressive. He wasn't aggressive all damn day last night. That's frustrating. It is absolutely frustrating. If you're not going to be aggressive, there's going to be some serious problems. The Kevin Durant, I told you, Kevin Durant relationship effect, it's going to be a problematic. There's going to be serious problems in Houston. Houston, we have a problem. Texans is better than the Rockets so far this year. And Texans are inching closer to head to the AFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history. We'll get to that a little bit later. But the Houston Rockets, they have not been to the Western Conference Finals since 2018. Since then, this team has just gone downhill. So, what Houston Rockets need to do to stop turning the basketball over? They need a guard play. Who needs a better ball security, who has the best ball security on the team. And then they need another guard who can support their teammates to find ways to win. Let me step away for 30 seconds. As I'm saying, Rockets need a point guard at the deadline who could support their teammates. And also, they need a ball security. That's where I'm at right now. I picked up what I left off. So, other question about the Houston Rockets. How frustrating the Rockets were yesterday. Ime Udoka has been frustrated, not just with this team, the way the team has been playing. Ime Udoka has been frustrating with the officials for much of this game, including the Thunder player, the Rocket player made contact. Looked like he went over the back. It should have been a backcourt violation. They missed it, and then Ime Udoka spent a lot of time with the officials arguing, and he ended up getting a technical foul. That's how frustrating Ime Udoka was yesterday. He's been frustrated with the officials all night long, and he heard enough. He had a technical foul last night. I mean, during the postgame, he said, it's frustrating. We're going to figure things out. We just haven't played our best basketball right now. All right, so coming, actually, we're gonna stick with the basketball for another 5 more minutes, if that's okay. So, okay, what happened yesterday between the Knicks All right, let's talk about the Knicks and the Warriors last night in San Francisco. The Golden State Warriors were a desperate team, 22-19. Knicks also a desperate team, 25-15. So last night, Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors able to put Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry having prolific performance. So is Moses Moody, making a huge impact yesterday. Butler had a 30-point. Yes, he scored 32 points in 32 minutes, 14 made field goals, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Stephen Curry on the other end, he scored 27 points, 4 made field goals. 4 made field goals. And 4 made 3-pointers. I'm sorry. 7 assists and 1 steal. As the New York Knicks on the other end, OG Anunoby had a night. OG Anunoby had a nice. OG Anunoby had a nice game last night. He had 25 points, but it was not enough as the Warriors beat the Knicks 126-113. So I have to. Next we cut off. Okay. So I'm gonna ask this question about the Warriors and Knicks game last night. So the question was this about the Warriors' better cohesiveness as far as energy, or the Knicks team is having a really rough stretch? I want to say the Warriors have played some type of cohesion basketball. They have won 10 of their last 14 games. They're still the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. I think the Warriors are just trying to peak themselves at the right time. They try to get to the top 6 in the Western Conference. It is not an easy thing to sound at, but the Warriors. But I would like to say that the Western Conference has been super competitive this season. But you got every team. The 6 teams will have to take the playoff spot, and then the Final Four has to require a play-in tournament to get into the playoffs. For either you could be the 7th seed or the 8th seed by the end of this play-in tournament games. Jimmy Butler had a solid night last night. He had 32 points. He was aggressive early and often this game. Stephen Curry knocking down 3-point shots. He had 4 made 3-pointers yesterday. Moses Moody, I haven't mentioned about him, but he had 21 points and 7 rebounds. He had a good game yesterday. I mean, this is what this game is all about. The Warriors have everything to go right last night. They were down like 17 points early in the game, and they stormed back. They took control of the rest of the game. They never wavered at all. So if they can continue to play this way and get out of this playing-in spot, then your significant of your chances should be good. All right, so meanwhile, on the other side, the New York Knicks. With the Knicks lost last night and the Celtics win, Celtics moved to 25-15. They snapped their 2-game losing streak. They came back from 19 points down yesterday. And then with the Knicks, with a 13-point, 126-113 loss, they dipped down to number 3 seed once again. If the Knicks remain in the same position by the end of the season, the Knicks may not go a deep playoff run. It could be a first-round exit. I don't know who their first-round opponents will look like if the season have ended today. If the season have ended today, if the Knicks are the number 3 seed, I think they will have to face the Orlando Magic in the first round. I think they have to face the Orlando Magic in the first round. Actually, they may get out of the first round. It could be, if it's Sixers Knicks, it's going to be interesting because Raptors, between 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, it's all up for grabs. From 2 seed to 7 seed, the number 2 seed is up for grabs. I'm just saying, the number 2 seed's up for grabs. It's wide open. Who will be the definitive number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference? Right now, Pistons is number 1, Celtics number 2. If they get Tatum back, then the Celtics will take the permanent number 2 seed of the Eastern Conference. And there's a higher chance they could get to the Eastern Conference Finals the way they've been playing all season long. But the New York Knicks right now, they should be worried. They have lost 9 of their last 16 ball games. In large part, their defense has been atrocious. Their defense has been bad. Their defense has been brutal. They have the second worst defensive rating in the NBA since they won the Cup. Jazz actually have a higher defensive rating than any other NBA team since the Knicks have won the in-season Cup championship game against the Spurs. Like I said, the last 2 Cup champions have suffered their first-round exits. Lakers did it in 2023-24 season. They won the Cup, but lost in 5 games to the Denver Nuggets in the first round. Then the next year, similar result. The Bucks won in the Cup, but lost in the Eastern Conference first round to the Pacers in 5 games as well. What's in store for the New York Knicks? Will the Knicks become the first team to advance after they won the Cup? We don't know. If Knicks do, it's hard luck for the NBA right now. It is absolutely hard luck in the NBA. Let's face it, if the Knicks had every clue to make it out, then they need Jalen Brunson to be healthy. Jalen did not play last night. He left Wednesday's game against the Kings in a loss. So how the Knicks are the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference? I'll tell you how. The New York Knicks are 17th in the NBA in defensive efficiency. They just don't play type of consistent defense. They don't have that right now. The Knicks are talented enough to play good enough defense, but they're not playing great defense right now. Brunson's not a great defender. He's not a great all-around player, but he's a good player. He's a good offensive player, but he's not a good all-around player. He's not a good two-way player. Jalen Brunson's not known for his defense. Josh Hart's a good defensive player, but he rebounds a lot and he facilitates. You got Karl Anthony Towns. He's a great player. He's not quite a good defender. The only guy who's a good defender is Mitchell Robinson. That's it. They don't have other guys who's the best defender on this team. They just don't have that. They just don't have a consistent firepower. They just don't have that right now. That's good. It's gonna hurt in the playoffs. Maybe it's gonna hurt in the first round too. So we'll see. We'll see how this rest of the season plays out. The Knicks got to dig deep down the stretch, or they can do something at the deadline. That's the best case scenario. All right. So coming up, we'll preview the divisional round games. We're also going to preview the national championship game between Miami and Indiana and who am I picking. And also where is Kyle Tucker going? So we'll have to find out in 3 minutes. All right, so welcome back here on JDB's Morning Cap. We got Lakers and the Hornets squared off yesterday. We'll get to highlights in just we'll get the reaction in just a few moments. I just want to say what's coming up on Monday. What's going on Monday. I just want to say Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, the biggest moment of its life. You do it. But Martin Luther King Jr. Day is about mentorship. It's about education. It's about learning process. Impactful communities between cities. But the city of Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis is the biggest. Actually, Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most activist civil rights in U.S. history, along with Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Jackie Robinson, Harriet Tubman, Maya Angelou, also a bunch of African American people who support their countries. Black History Month is coming up in about 3 weeks, about 3 weeks. I don't know how excited I am about Black History Month, the biggest time of the year. Black History Month is all February long, 28 days. That was about it. So I just want to say, at the bottom of my heart, Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day on this coming Monday. It is a true blessing for those of you who supported Martin Luther King Jr., who've been reading, watching, listening, and learning, and educating these kids who paved their way to the community. So I'll just say it by my heart, Martin Luther King, I love you. We're gonna miss you. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to this. Lakers and Hornets squared off yesterday in Los Angeles. LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. It decimates the Los Angeles Lakers and end up winning over the Lakers 130. Hold on. LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets dominates the Los Angeles Lakers. LaMelo Ball had 30 points, 6 rebounds, also 10 made three-pointers. here. Possible Rookie of the Year, Con Canepo, had a solid game as well. Actually made 9 3-pointers. LaMelo Ball made 9 3-pointers. He made 10 total field goals. Con Canepo finished 19 points, 3 made 3-pointers. Miles Bridges finished 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 made 3-pointers. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, another prolific performance with 39 points, 15 made field goals, 6 made threes. LeBron James with 29 points, 10 made field goals, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. But it was not enough for the Lakers as they lose to the Hornets, 135-117. Don't look now for the Hornets. The Hornets have been red hot. They beat the Thunder a few weeks ago. And now the Hornets are just a few games back from the final spot of the play-in tournament. Let's see the Hornets. They can do it. I think the Hornets can do it. They can get into the play-in tournament. They can sneak past the Hawks. So let's see how this plays out here. All right, as for the Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers dipped to 24-15 on the season. So Lakers remain the number 5 seed in the Western Conference. So what is going on with the Los Angeles Lakers? Should they be concerned after a 18-point loss? See the record of the last 15 games. So they started the season 12-3, right? So the record over the last 15 games. Or what's the Lakers' record the last 10 games since that time? Lakers have been 500 over the last 10 games. Lakers only won just 8 of their last 15 games. They're 8-7 since the 12-3 start. Or is it 8-8? Or the Lakers have clearly really have a really tough stretch. They won just 5 of their last 10. They don't have that right now. So should they be concerned by the Los Angeles Lakers? Yes, they should be concerned. And their defense continues to be an issue, time and time again. The Lakers' defense has been an issue, time and time again. We've been discussed this over and over again. Luka Doncic will carry this team, but if the Lakers don't keep winning, they could be the play-in tournament. Lakers' defense is this bad right now. Lakers' defensive rating since the 12-3 start, it has significantly got worse. They ranked 22nd in defensive rating since the 12-3 start. They're 22nd in the NBA. Overall, they're like 24th, 26th in the NBA in defensive rating this season. That's just not getting it done. Their defense has been really inconsistent. And that's been one of the low points for the Los Angeles Lakers. They just don't have that right now. And the questions about Luka Doncic and LeBron James. What is better for LeBron James and Luka Doncic will look like for the rest of the season? These two will keep playing well. The only thing is they need Austin Reeves to be healthy down the stretch. They need to get Austin Reeves back. That's the key. They need to get Austin Reeves healthy if they want to get back to other spots. Right now, the Lakers The reason why they're 24-15 this season, they're not in a good spot right now. The 5th seed is not a good place to play. Had season ended today, you're going to face the 27-14 Timberwolves. Wolves have the number 4 seed right now. And likely the Lakers may get bounced out of the first round again for the 3rd consecutive year. LeBron has not been bounced out of the first round 3 times in a row in his career. If Lakers do make the playoffs and lose the series, this will be the first time in LeBron's career to surrender a first-round exit for 3 consecutive years. So let's see how LeBron has been in the conference finals just one time since 2020. That was the 2022-23 season. And they were swept by the Nuggets. So nothing has gone right for the Los Angeles Lakers during this stretch. They're just not playing sharp basketball right now. All right, let's stay with the NBA. There's more action from last night's game. I was going to talk about Spurs and the Bucks. What went down yesterday's game in San Antonio. Last night, Victor Wembanyama scored 22 points, 7 made field goals, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Despite the fact he left the game with the injury, he came back and he made a huge impact. And Victor Wembanyama got a haircut, by the way. Congratulations. Also, Stephen Castle have 19 points, De'Aaron Fox with 18, Dylan Harper with 13 points. On the Bucks side, Giannis Antetokounmpo finished just 21 points. Just no supporting cast whatsoever. Kyle Kuzma did have 18 points. Portis had Bobby Portis with 13. But the Spurs were victorious, 119-101. So let's break this down in yesterday's game. What is going on with the Milwaukee Bucks? What is wrong with the Milwaukee Bucks? I just discussed it yesterday. The Milwaukee Bucks, they seem to be disjointed. They seem to be disjointed right now, especially on the defensive end. They're not rebounding the ball. They're not blocking out very well as far as rebounding the basketball on defensive side of the ball, and they're giving way too many threes. That's why your defense is problematic. You give up way too many threes, and your offense is going to be stale, and your defense is going to be an issue. Doc Rivers, when I said it last night, there's no leadership, no ownership, and no cohesiveness. That's what I said from yesterday. There's no leadership whatsoever. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they need to find a new leader. They need a new voice of this team as far as head coach, and they need a new leader for this franchise if Giannis does intend to trade, either during the season or otherwise after the season. So if Giannis doesn't get traded this season, then you got to keep him. Let this man play out for the rest of the year. If Bucks don't make the playoffs, then there's going to be a whole lot of questions and answers against Giannis. So there's nothing you can really change about it. So as for the Spurs are keep playing. The Spurs are going to continue to play well overall. It hasn't been an easy stretch by any means, but they're still playing. They're still playing a good brand of basketball. With Victor Wembanyama being healthy, it's going to be important to keep him and get into the playoffs. Keep Wembanyama healthy. It's going to be crucial. if they want to make this deep playoff run. That's going to be a critical manner. It's not. So you got the Spurs team will make a huge difference. De'Aaron Fox will be huge in the playoffs. Castle, Harper, Wembanyama, Cornette, they're all going to be huge in the playoffs in upcoming months. All right, so when we come back, still coming, we'll talk NFL. We'll preview this Saturday's and this Sunday's divisional round, and we're also going to preview the college football playoff, and we're also going to talk about where is Kyle Tucker going. We'll find out in 3 minutes.
Tucker hits it well, left field. Conforto back at the wall. It's off the wall. Kyle Tucker to second.
And we have breaking news in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers have signed Kyle Tucker in a 4-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Two-time defending World Series champs, the Dodgers are in agreement of Kyle Tucker. So that is a huge news for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Try to get this team a whole lot stronger. Here are the notable lineups since the acquiring of Kyle Tucker by a free agent. So here we go. We have Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Kyle Tucker for sure, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez. So those are the potential strong lineup for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Are they going to be top 5 in home runs in 2026? Yes, they are. Will the run production will be there throughout the season? Yes. Do you think they could be rusty to start the season? Yeah, a little bit rusty offensively. But with Kershaw retires, I think the pitching is going to be better with Kershaw retiring. I think the pitching will improve, especially the starting rotation. Yamamoto, a World Series MVP. Shohei Ohtani will be on the mound this season if he's healthy enough. Then you got a number of starting rotation options who could be, the bullpen is going to be challenging for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The bullpen is going to be challenging. But that's the key. The Dodgers are still going to win this division, but the National League West is not going to be easy. You got the team like the Arizona Diamondbacks. They just add Nolan Arenado. And then he's going to pair up with Corbin Carroll. And then you got the San Diego Padres. They've been the thorn of the side over the years. The Padres and Dodgers have been the thorn of the side over the years. You got Manny Machado. Even though Craig Stammen is the new manager of the Padres, it's going to be a challenging season for the Padres. Losing some guys is significantly. I think the pitching is still going to be strong, but the offense has got to be better if they want production out of these guys. Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and anyone has to be productive for the San Diego Padres. Then the San Francisco Giants, they've been a thorn of the Dodgers side as well, but they got a young manager, Tony Vitello from University of Tennessee. I think the Giants, they just need to challenge themselves if they want to get back to the playoffs. The young manager, the inexperienced manager for the San Francisco Giants is going to be challenging. So, how they can sneak some series wins to start this season. As for the Rockies, they're the worst record in baseball last year. They'll improve this year, but they're probably going to be a 65 win team which is drastically improvement. I think the Rockies will probably win 65 games. So, but my World Series matchup is going to be the Dodgers. I was going to say who's going to win the American League pennant is up for grabs right now. I'm going to say Dodgers will take on the New York Yankees in the World Series. If I would get the pick, I think Yankees will get to the Dodgers this time. I think Yankees will get to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Aaron Judge will win his first ever World Series ring after he spent like 9 years with this team. He's a 3-time American League MVP. He's a former American League Rookie of the Year. He's gone like 4 or 5 seasons with 50 home run seasons. So 4 50 home run seasons for Aaron Judge. As for the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani went back-to-back 50-plus home run seasons. So that for Major League Baseball, the Dodgers will be favored to come out the National League. The Yankees could be favored to win the American League pennant, along with the Blue Jays, Mariners. Maybe the Rangers are in the mix, but in the Central, the Tigers and the Guardians. So there's a few teams that can be in there. On the National League side, you got Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs. So the Cubs already at Alex Bregman. So that's that, which means you cannot sign Kyle Tucker with Chicago. So that makes sense right there. All right, so we're going to move on from Major League Baseball. We're going to go back to the NFL. I've not been doing this for much since the beginning of the show. Let's take the final look. So when we come back, we're going to preview the NFL games. We're going to preview the college football playoff for sure, and who am I picking. And then we'll see. Have more details. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. All right, welcome back. We got breaking news again. Another MLB. The Mets are agreeing. Bo Bichette signing a 3-year, $126 million. He signed a 3-year, $126 million deal with the New York Mets. The Bo Bichette is agreeing, heading to New York for 3 years. So they're going to team up with Juan Soto. So what was my brief reaction to this about Bo Bichette signing with the Mets for 3 years? I think Bo is going to help the Mets. Despite missing the playoffs last year for the Mets, losing Pete Alonso this offseason is significant. Pete Alonso will face his former team this year with the Baltimore Orioles. So Bo Bichette will face his former team, the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the game will be in Toronto in 2026. But Bo Bichette is a pretty good signing for him. Try to navigate defensively. So as long as Bichette gets rid of the nagging of injuries, I think this is a good relationship between Bichette and Soto. I think the vibes of the clubhouse will be decent this season. So you can be really happy for that. All right, so we're gonna change. We're gonna switch gears. We'll finally go to the NFL for the first time in over an hour. So let's start from Saturday's game. Let's start off with the 49ers taking on the Seahawks. As concerned quarterback of the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, was dealing an oblique injury during this week's practice. He's trying to go tomorrow. So it looks like Sam Darnold is optimism. Coach McDonald said he is optimism that Darnold will be playing tomorrow night against the San Francisco 49ers. So the question is, should they run the ball heavily tomorrow for the Seahawks, avoiding Sam Darnold's potential harm's injury? Yeah, I think they need to start running the football a little bit more. They need to get Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet more carries. That's going to be key for the Seattle Seahawks. But right now, they listed Darnold as questionable. If Sam Darnold doesn't go, if Sam Darnold doesn't go, then Drew Lock will take over. Maybe San Francisco will probably win this game. If Darnold doesn't go, if Darnold does go, I think this game will still going to be close. I think Darnold's going to struggle still. He still have issues with the oblique. Then when they go to the NFC Championship game, I'm not sure how confident are the Seahawks to go to the NFC Championship game. I'm really confident that Seattle will be going to the Super Bowl and heading to the NFC Championship game. It's not going to be easy. So hopefully this game is going to be a deciding factor for tomorrow. But as for the 49ers, what Brock Purdy has to do to upset the Seahawks tomorrow night? Couple of things. Number one, he needs to protect himself. He didn't do that 2 weeks ago against Seattle. Ended up losing by 10 points, 13-3 in Week 18. But the Niners defense has handled the Seahawks offense really well in the first two matchups. They held the Seahawks to 26 combined points. 26-20, Seahawks is the outscored through 2 games. And each team has won a road game so far. So, in the divisional round, so if my wild card picks, that I was 5-1 of my picks of the wild card last week. I could have been 6-0 if the Panthers could have won this game. But I was 5-1 of my picks last week. So this week, I reveal all my 4 picks. We'll get to 1, including this. So the defense for both Seahawks and 49ers expect to play well. It's going to be cold in Seattle, and both defense will put on a show time and time again. So who am I picking? Seahawks or 49ers? I picked the Seahawks to win 24-14. I think Seahawks will win by 10 points. It's going to be competitive throughout the game, but I think Seahawks will run away to get a W. Jackson Smith-Njigba will try to perform well in the playoffs. He finished 1,793 yards, 119 receptions, and I think 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. I picked Seattle Seahawks to win 24-14. It's going to be your future final score. Next up is the Bills and the Broncos. Bills come off a comeback win over the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. Broncos fresh off a well-earned bye with 14-3 record themselves, same record as Seattle and New England. So both Denver and Buffalo have played a handful of one-score games this season, more than a handful of one-score games this season. So let's start with the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, what's in store for Josh Allen for tomorrow's game? There's a lot to in store with. Josh Allen has to play well against the top defenses in the NFL of the Denver Broncos. I mean, we've been talking about Josh Allen's numbers has been pretty decent and good at times as well. But Josh Allen wants to rely on their tight ends a whole lot more, Dalton Kincaid. And then they need to feed James Cook a little bit more because Broncos have been stout against the run. So patience of James Cook is going to be critical for the Bills if they want to upset the Broncos. If they want to beat the Broncos tomorrow in Denver. Josh Allen has handled the Broncos very well. He's 3-1 in his career against the Broncos, including postseason. So he's trying to make it 4-1. James Cook, I'm concerned about James Cook's health. That's why his numbers struggled last week against Jacksonville's #1 run defense in the NFL. Understandable. I think they'll run the ball better against a pretty good Broncos defense. As for the Broncos, what's been going through Bo Nix's mind this season? Not much, but I think Bo Nix has played very well. There's nothing to go through his mind. Even though the slow starts to start games, they found ways to storm back and win football games. When they trailed early in the game in the first half, they stormed back. Defense will play well, and then offense will carry you in the fourth quarter. You're not going to have J.K. Dobbins with you tomorrow because of an injury. And they're not going to take with him in the playoffs. But like I said, their defense is going to be locked in against the Bills' offense. So they're going to get after the quarterback. They're going to stop the run. They're going to get off the field on third down, and they're going to keep their butts out of the end zone. That is a golden opportunity to make this out. So what Bills defense need to do against Bo Nix? Bills defense need to show a bunch of support. They need to generate more pass rush if they want to get after Bo Nix. I think this is going to be a competitive football game. And who should I pick, Bills or the Broncos? I'm going to pick the Bills winning 20-17 on a last-second field goal. So it should be an exciting football game tomorrow. All right, we're going to step away for 3 more minutes. Coming up next, we're going to preview Sunday's divisional round, and we'll preview the college football playoff before we wrap things up. So we'll be right back right after this. All right, we're back, y'all. National Championship Game is 3 days away. We have a 10 seed Miami Hurricanes will take on the 1-seeded Indiana Hoosiers. And Miami is back home in Hard Rock Stadium, as even though they're a designated road team this Monday. So as the Hoosiers, so Indiana has a chance to win a title this Monday, same as Miami. They're also in the same position to win the BCS National Championship. So it should be an exciting matchup, Miami versus Indiana. So who am I picking? I'll just wait for another couple of minutes. So let's start with this. So what's going to happen in a national championship game this Monday? Couple of things. First one, for Miami, just play a physical brand of football. Just play physical brand of football. They just need to run the ball effectively against a strong Indiana defense. And Miami defense has to get after Fernando Mendoza. They need to be physical on both sides of the ball. That is the first step. And Carson Beck just need to be more efficient. That's what Mario Cristobal wants. They need Carson Beck to be efficient and not taking a step back. So, as far as I'm concerned, how's Miami going to respond? They could be trailing early. If you're trailing early and often in this game, I don't see Miami winning this game because of this. They need to keep Indiana close. They need to scratch, claw, survive. They need to be consistent. So that is going to help in its own cost. So let's see what Miami does. What Indiana has to do to order to win the title on Monday night. Fernando Mendoza continue to be efficient. Fernando Mendoza's been efficient in the regular season. He's been even better efficient-wise in the postseason. No turnovers in his first 2 playoff starts. So that's a good sign for Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza has not turned the football over all season long. He's done a great job. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the country this season, and that's why he won the Heisman Trophy. He's not turning the football over. And they're committing the run. That's always a good sign for Indiana Hoosiers on the offense side. And defense, play discipline, play strong discipline and physicality brand of football. Curt Cinetti likes discipline. He wants discipline. So that's exactly he wants to see. Just play a great discipline brand of football. That's what he wants this Monday to order to win the national championship. There's a lot to decide who's going to take the trophy on Monday night. So they got a couple of days to prepare for it. Then on Monday, today will be today. There's no tomorrow. There's no yesterday. Today is now. That's what Curt Cinetti wants to say on Monday night. Our final thoughts before the national championship game. So, who am I picking? Miami or Indiana? I'm going to pick Indiana to win this game. And a final score is going to be 33 to 20. Indiana is going to win this game, and they're national champions. So that's what's going to be right now here. All right, so we're going to step away one more time. Still coming up, we're going to preview Texans and the Patriots and the Rams-Bears for the Sunday's game, and who am I picking for these 2 games. So we'll step away for 5 minutes. All right, we're back, y'all. Texans and Patriots 2 days away. Kickoff begins at 3 o'clock Eastern. Houston Texans come off a dominant 30-6 win over the Steelers. Meanwhile, the Patriots come off a 16-3 win over the Chargers. And the Patriots got to Herbert 6 times against the Chargers. The Texans defense was dominating as well. So I'm going to ask this question. Who's more dominant in the division? Who's more dominant divisional round on defense? Texans or Patriots? Technically, I gotta say the Houston Texans, right? Or maybe New England Patriots. I think New England Patriots will be more dominant as far as defensive physicality, because C.J. Stroud had 5 fumbles last Monday, lost 2 of them. But I would say Patriots defense is gonna dominate again, this time against the Texans. Texans, even though Texans have the number one defense in football, I expect to be a low-scoring affair. Expect to be a defensive struggle. Expect to be a low-scoring football game. I think Drake May will take better care of football than C.J. Stroud. I like C.J. Stroud and Drake May, but who do you think who deserves better? I like Drake May. If Drake May plays more efficient, then he's got a pretty good chance to win a football game. If he doesn't play efficient, then it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. But I think Patriots will dominate the Texans' offensive line. So, speaking of the Texans, should they be concerned about the offense? Yeah, they should be. Nico Collins could be questionable with a concussion injury. I don't know if he's going to play this Sunday against the Patriots. C.J. Stroud struggles with fumbles. He had 5 fumbles, lost 2 of them last week. 3 of them have been bad snaps. So C.J. Stroud just need to perform better. In fact, the Texans are 0-6 in divisional rounds games. The Texans seeking their first elusive win in the divisional round games. They are 0-6, including 2 against the Patriots and 2 against the Chiefs. They're 0-4 combined in the divisional rounds against these 2 common teams who faced off each other in over different years. So there's nothing else you can really change that. They say there's a lot of players to put things around in their prospective teams. But let's say the Will Anderson Jr. will perform well in the postseason. He's off to a good start, by the way. The Texans defense benefited 4 sacks, a forced fumble, recovery, return for a touchdown, and a pick 6 from Bullock. There's a lot of great things about the Houston Texans. They can make this deep playoff run. If they can beat the Patriots, then the AFC Championship game is in balance. So if they can beat the Patriots, if they can beat either the Bills or the Broncos, despite the fact you faced these 2 this season, you won 1 of your games. You're 0-1 against the Broncos, you're 1-0 against the Bills. That's a huge difference. And C.J. Stroud started that game against the Broncos. He got hurt, but Davis Mills started against the Bills. So his team won the game. So C.J. Stroud will be... Texans could host the AFC Championship game. They need to win. They need Bills beat the Broncos tomorrow. That's it. Let me check the AI generator. Texans could host the AFC Championship game. With a win and the Bills win. Let me see. Let's see if it's a good one. Okay, so AI Overview says, yes, Houston Texans can host the AFC Championship game if they win a division round match, and the Bills need to beat the 1-seeded Broncos. They can still do it. Ironically, it has never happened in the Super Bowl era. It has never happened in NFL history. Super Bowl era. The wild card, the low seeds have been on the road for the first 2 playoff games and end up hosting the conference championship game. It has never happened in the history of the NFL. They need Texans to win. They need Bills to win. If it happens, the game would be in Houston. That would be historically as well. It would have been cool. All right, so for my picks, who am I picking this Sunday? Who I trust more, Texans or the Patriots? I'm going to pick the Patriots winning. The final score, Patriots beat the Texans 17-13. I think this game will go down to the last minute. Patriots will make a huge stop, and then they'll beat the Texans by 4 points. Texans will be 0-7 in divisional round games. Patriots will go to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2018-19 season. Patriots will win on Sunday. All right, so I'm sorry, we're going to take one more break. I can promise you this. Actually, we're not going to take a break. We're going to preview the Rams and the Bears right now. So, our final topic of the day is the Rams and Bears. I'm previewing this game this Sunday, and who am I picking? We'll get to that in the very last minute of the show. Before I sign off. First one, let's talk about the Rams come off a last second win, 31-27 over the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears come off a come-from-behind victory against the Green Bay Packers, 31-27. As well, actually, Rams beat the Panthers 34-31. Bears beat the Packers 34. Bears beat the Packers 31-27. I made a mistake. That was last Saturday's wildcard game, and now these two will be squaring off in 2 days from now. So, the question is, can Caleb Williams carry his first career conference championship game with a win here this Sunday? I think they can. I think they can do it. And the reason why they can do it, because Caleb Williams can find ways to win when they trail, when they play close games. In fact, the Bears have won around 7 games this season when trailing in the fourth quarter. The Bears have won 7 games this season when trailing with less than 2 minutes. That's a shocking stat. For the first time in the Super Bowl era, the Bears have won 7 games when trailing with 2 minutes or fewer, including 5 of those have been six of those have been last second touchdowns. 6 of those 7 wins have been last minute or last second touchdowns. It does include overtime as well. So when you're playing a lot of close games, then Bears are going to have success in one-score games. The Rams, meanwhile, for the Los Angeles Rams, they have struggled in one-score games. They lost 5 one-score games this season. Because of the late game execution in those 5 losses has been problematic. So, like I said earlier this week's show, if Rams gets off to a good start and they end up faltering down the stretch, then there's going to be an issue upcoming offseason. But on the other end, the Bears defense and Rams defense are not quite good this season. Although they're still tops in takeaways. Both teams are tops in takeaways in the NFL. But you need everything to go. You need one team to everything to need to go your way. So, Question is, will Devontae Adams be playing this Sunday? He suffered a late hit last Saturday against the Panthers. He needs to play this Sunday to keep him healthy. That's going to be the key to have winning success. But something you really want to trust everybody else to play this team and play a lot of confidence. So I think the trust is going to be a big time issue for the Rams. For the Bears, the trust is improving. The trust has improved. Well, the problem is the Bears finished 29th in total defense, 23rd in points allowed. And I don't think the Bears are going to head to the NFC Championship game if the defense don't play a lot of confidence. They're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. Your time is going to run out. Puka Nacua had a nice game, 10 receptions, 111 yards, and two total touchdowns, one receiving, one rushing. So Puka Nacua was all over the place against the Panthers defense last Saturday. Will Puka do it again against a 29th ranked total defense of the Bears? The Bears' pass defense was just bottom 5 in the NFL. The Bears have given up 7 pass plays to 20-plus yards against the Packers. 124 yards for Romeo Doubs. He had 84 yards for Matthew Golden from the Green Bay Packers. And Jordan Love threw 323 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. The Bears' defense is not that good. It's been problematic at best. The Bears do lead the league with 23 interceptions, which is most in the NFL. So they didn't pick them off last week, so let's see if they pick off Stafford this Sunday. If they pick off Stafford at least 2 times, there's a chance that the Bears could beat the Rams on Sunday. So, we're down just 5 minutes left of our show, but who am I picking? Bears or the Rams? I like the Chicago Bears this Sunday. They're going to beat the Rams. 22-16 is your final score. 22-16 in favor of the Bears. They're going to win it this Sunday. I picked the Bears over the Rams. All right, so like I said, we're down just 4 minutes left in our show. So let's wrap things up here. So we're going to play this song until the end. So what's coming up? Actually, what I talked about is earlier today. We talked about the recapping John Harbaugh's hiring of the New York Giants and the rest of the NFC East teams, or they could face a potential challenge. Also, we also talk about Kevin Portola's firing. We've been discussed that all week long. We talk about Dallas Cowboys all week long as well. We talk about Commanders today. What else I've been talking about today? What else have we been talking about today? We recap the three important NBA games yesterday. We talked about the Hornets beat the Lakers. Lakers struggling right now. The Lakers are struggling defensively right now. It's been a really, really tough stretch. Meanwhile, we talk Rockets and Thunder. We recap Rockets Thunder. Rockets are struggling. The Thunder start to get back on track. Warriors beat the Knicks. The Knicks continue to struggle. The Warriors are climbing up at the right time. We talk about two massive news in Major League Baseball. The big one, Kyle Tucker signed a 4-year contract with the Dodgers. Will Bichette with a new New York Mets. We talk about the college football playoff, national championship game between Indiana and Miami. We preview the 4 games between the Bills, Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks, Texans, Patriots, and Rams, Bears. So now just 2 minutes left of the show. So my question is, what's coming up on Tuesday? I will not be doing the talk show on Monday because of Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. So what's coming up on Tuesday? I will recap all the 4 divisional round games, 2 by each conference, AFC and NFC divisional round. I will recap NBA games on Martin Luther King. I'll recap the college football national championship game, etc., etc., etc. So you know how excited I am. I'm looking forward to this 3-day weekend. But the weather in the East Coast or elsewhere is not going to be easy. Chicago, they said it's going to be cold and snowy, something like that. In New England, they expect to be cold. Denver's going to be cold. Seattle, it's going to be cold. Cold weather is a huge factor for every city. Seattle, Denver, Chicago, Foxborough. The weather is going to be cold between tomorrow and Sunday. Alright, so who are my picks for Saturday and Sunday's game? On the AFC side, I picked the Bills and the Patriots. On the NFC side, I picked the Seahawks and the Bears. For the national championship game, BCS National Championship Game, I pick the Bears. Alright, that's going to do it. This is JDB's Morning Cap. Hopefully, enjoy your 3-day weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good one.